Hello YouTube, it's Ryan here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we're going to be looking at another comic book. We're going to be doing a review for Dark Knights of Steel issue 7, written by Tom Taylor and illustrated by Nathan Gooden, which is interesting. I thought that all of these were illustrated by Yasmin Putri, and I honestly can't tell the difference between the two artists, so I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, there's no news, and the recap from last issue is that Tim Drake was outed from the Kingdom of Storms and returns to the El Kingdom. He brings some news, and he mentions that, everyone he talked to said that Zala was the one that murdered Jefferson, and it's kind of concerning. And then Cal goes to Amazonia, to Masquera, the island of the Amazons, to try to stop the war, try to get them to stand down, but they attack him, and eventually Hippolyta manages to skewer him with a magic sword, and he gets tied to a post with the lasso of truth, and he basically feels pain, and he talks to Lois Lane, and realizes that war is coming, and we don't know if Kal-El is going to manage to break away from that trap that he's been placed in. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how it goes. I'm curious to see if we're going to get a little bit of romance between Cal and Lois Lane, because that's got to happen. So yeah. Now the review here is pretty interesting. I quite like the issue actually. It starts with this nightmare retelling the prophecy. They come from the stars. They look like us. They sound like us, but they are not like us. They are demons, which is interesting because there are actual demons in this world. So, why would they be demons if they come from the stars, but you don't care about the demons that exist in the world? I mean, we saw Ra's al Ghul in the last issue, so why is he okay, but, these other people are not? I don't know. And it continues, there's this battle, there's these scenes where the elves are attacking Bruce, and then they incinerate him, very, kind of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, cinder blocks outside their house kind of thing. And then Bruce wakes up from this nightmare, and then this green dog talks to him. And eventually the Kent family shows up. Martha and Papa Kent show up, and they're like, "Hey man, you good? What's going on?" They tell him he's safe and stuff like that. And then Raven appears out of nowhere, and she's like, "He's dying. There's something wrong with him." And then we get a scene shift back to the Kingdom of Storms, where Ra's al Ghul brings back Jacob from the Lazarus Pit? Probably. And then they have a reunion. Jacob talks about how he knows that his father's dead, and then Ra's al Ghul and John tell Jacob that hey man, you're going to have to live, away from your family now. You have to help the kingdom, but you can't actually be, part of the kingdom. You're going to have to work in the shadows. And then Constantine and my man Ra's al Ghul talk about the Teen Titans, and he gets the location. We get back to the Kent farm, sorry, brain fart there. And we get to see Raven extracting something from Bruce's body. He gets up and shows his funky little laser eye. It pointed at her. He calls her a witch. And then the Kents are like, "Hey man, chill out. She saved your life. Chill, bro. Relax." And then we get to see the rest of the Titans. We get to see Raven and Cyborg, who happens to be a what's it called? Just a man with a like a gem in his face. He kind of looks like Mad Eye Moody if it was Kingsley Shacklebolt, which is pretty cool. And then we get to see Starfire as well. Interesting. She looks more like a young teenager, whereas Cyborg looks like an adult, and Raven does look like a young teenager as well. You're not used to the very imposing, buxom Coriander that you usually see in other media. Then we get to see the green dog again, which happens to be Beast Boy, of course, who actually looks kind of like an elf or a goblin, and it's cool. I think it's really interesting. And then they continue to talk, and the Teen Titans shove all of the shit that Bruce has done in his face, and it's pretty interesting. We get to see a lot of world building about what actually Bruce has been doing, and then Raven says that it sickens her that Bruce has done all of these things and actually happens to be one of them. Which, timeout, I don't think that makes sense, because the difference is, like, the elves are from space, right? And the reason they don't like magic is because it's their one weakness. So he's not like them. He's not magical. Bruce is an alien or half alien, the same way that, you know, the elves are. So he's not like them. But I guess medieval people would not make this distinction. So it makes sense. But I don't understand why Starfire is with them, because she's also an alien. I guess they changed her origin story for this story. But I think it would have been an interesting dynamic to have her also be from space, realize that, go talk to the elves about it, and live with them instead of with the Teen Titans. I think it would be interesting. It might be a plot point later on, but I don't know. Then we get to see Bruce talk to the Kents about morality and all of this type of stuff, and realize, you know, hey man, you're not a monster. There's people like you. You know, you've been doing this wrong. Maybe it's time to change. You know, basic superhero, you know, I gotta change my ways kind of things. And then Starfire screams, and she brings with her Dick Grayson, who happens to be skulking around trying to find Bruce. Then they have a talk, and Bruce apologizes to the Teen Titans, which is okay. There's a little bit of comedy there where they're talking about how, you know, it would require a lot more groveling for them to forgive him and stuff like that. And then Bruce activates his X-ray vision and sees that Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul have come to talk to them. Ra's al Ghul says that he wants the Titans. If they're coming with him peacefully, there's going to be no more problems. But of course, Bruce decides that that's not going to happen, and he suits up in order to fight Ra's al Ghul, and he tells the Teen Titans to stay away, kind of like a way to make up for all of the problems that he's caused them in their life. Inadvertently, right? Not necessarily directly, but, you know, around, because he persecutes magic people. And then the Kents also suit up. Apparently, they're also warriors. They used to serve in his with his family, so that's pretty cool. They go outside and they have a bit of a fight. And the League of Shadows apparently is just a bunch of zombies, which is cool. And the demon that Ra's al Ghul is tied to is actually Etrigan, which I'm guessing is just a different name for Trigon, but maybe not, I don't know. And then he breathes fire at Bruce, and then he punches him away into the Kent household, and the Teen Titans are like, hey man, you probably need our help, right? And Bruce is trying to tell them, like, no, it's I can do this myself. And then he talks about the fact that, you know, a green dog is not going to affect anything. And then Beast Boy, tells him, hey man, I can turn into any animal I've seen, and I've seen some cool shit. And he turns into a fucking dragon. And I think it's so awesome. This scene alone is worth the whole issue for me. It's just so cool. It's just very, very awesome. And then we get them teaming up together to fight, the League of Shadows. The one interesting thing is that we didn't really see Dick Grayson fight anyone, which is kind of cool. I don't know if he hid or something, but he does show up at the end again. And then Bruce is talking about how he's going to not go back to the kingdom, and the Kents reveal that they also raised Arthur Curry, which is interesting. He's also not a magic person. He is a different race of people, so I don't know. And then we have one of these call to action moments. You know, it's with great power comes great responsibility, and it's pretty cool. And I'm pretty happy with all of this. I have no complaints with this issue whatsoever. The story was dragging on a bit too long for my taste, but I'm happy that it has managed to gain its footing once again, and it's coming back to being action heavy, which is cool. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm really excited to see what happens in the next issue, and really don't have any complaints. So there we go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know your thought, and thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.